just 17 years old and in 11th grade. Her lawsuit states at this time, Diddy was
11th grade? Nah, this man's going to jail. Nah, this man's going to jail. I'm sorry, this man's going to jail. It's up. It's up. It's up, Diddy. P. Diddy, my man, got arrested today. Finally, apparently they found 1,000 bottles of baby lotion or some shit, bro. I'm not sure. So we're gonna watch this. Finish the Wukong game. Oh yeah, it's gonna have to be another time, buddy.
Sean P. Diddy Combs has been arrested and indicted on federal charges.
Damn.
The disgraced music icon has faced startling allegations for months of rape.
How was he not arrested earlier? I don't know. Whatever.
Sexual assault, physical abuse, gun trafficking, and drug trafficking. On Monday evening, he was indicted by a grand jury in New York. He was taken into custody in Manhattan, where he's been for the last week in anticipation of these charges.
Oh, so he's waiting. He's just waiting.
Now, the charges haven't been
He ran away? I saw that he ran away, but he came back.
The indictment was sealed. But according to the New York Times, a person familiar with the prosecution says they believe Diddy faces charges of racketeering and sex trafficking.
Oh.
Diddy's legal team.
I thought sex trafficking was going to be a major thing in there. I honestly, when everything came out, I was like, there has to be sex trafficking. Like, there just has to be. So these are new crimes, I think, that they're pulling against him.
They were disappointed with the decision to prosecute, but mentioned their client has been cooperative with law enforcement. A statement from his legal team reads, quote, Sean Diddy Combs is a music icon, self-made entrepreneur, loving family man, and proven philanthropist who has spent the last 30 years building an empire, adoring his children, and working to uplift the Black community.
But you can own baby lotion without having a baby, right? Hey, you can!
Criminal. To his credit, Mr. Combs has been nothing but cooperative with this investigation, and he voluntarily relocated to New York last week in anticipation of these
so
charges.
he knew it was coming. He knew it was coming.
Please reserve your judgment until you have all the facts. These are the acts of an innocent man with nothing to hide, and he looks forward to clearing his name in court. All this comes...
I don't think he has nothing to hide. Let's be honest, right? Let's just be real for one quick second. We all have something to hide, right? And of all people, I'm gonna tell you right now, P. Diddy got a fuck ton to hide. What are we talking about here, bro? What are we talking about here? 1,000 is sus, 99 death the cap. Yeah, bro. Yo. And 999, that's okay. But 1,000, that's over the line. That's over the line.
6 months after 2 of Diddy's homes were raided by federal investigators back in March. Then we couldn't confirm Diddy was the target of the Homeland Security raids or what information the feds collected. Most of what we know came from the 5 civil suits with a series of shocking allegations ranging from the 90s until now.
And the domestic abuse.
Multiple people alleged Diddy raped them, drugged them, and recorded all of that. We can't confirm it just yet, but it was likely those civil lawsuits that led up to the federal investigation and later Diddy's arrest. This is breaking news that's crazy. Constantly developing, so stay with
Dude, that is crazy, bro. He was drugging people and then just straight assaulting them? Does he even need to do this? He's P. Diddy. He's the fucking, not the GOAT. I'm not gonna say the GOAT, but he's one of the top. Does he really need to do this? You ain't even hiding it, and you're still not arrested. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. How's this man not?
Updates.
I'm glad he's in jail now.
Let's take a look back at the allegations leading up to Diddy's arrest. For the past 3 decades, we've come to know Sean Combs as multiple different names.
Yep.
P. Diddy, Puffy,
Puff Daddy.
Puff Daddy, Puff. The 54-year-old is a rapper, entrepreneur, and label exec.
Yep.
Things changed for
Fashion
him on
icon.
March 25th when Homeland Security raided 2 of his homes, one in California and the other in Florida. There's no word yet whether Diddy himself was the target of those raids, and he's not been charged criminally.
I mean,
that being said, some allegations of his criminal past became a major topic.
I mean, like, I don't know if that's like semantics or something, but if you raid 2 houses and those 2 houses are my houses, I think I'm the target.
Conversation.
I think I'm the target.
That's what was so stunning when Cassie Ventura filed her lawsuit earlier this
year.
Her
shit was crazy.
It kind of broke the dam.
I think it started everything.
The floodgates opened, and all of these other
She screwed him. Not in a bad way, but she screwed him. Because she came out and she had crazy allegations. She was one of the few people on earth that were willing to come out against Diddy, because he did a lot of people dirty, but she's like, nah, I'm coming out.
Allegations started to come to the surface.
That's Melba Pearson.
It just takes one
Prosecutor.
It takes
followed
one.
the Diddy case meticulously since it broke. Her interest actually dates back farther than just last month, when Diddy's "Bad Boy for Life" mantra was just a song. And we know about the allegations now that have happened in the past couple months via these civil suits. But if we go back, I know that you have kind of followed Diddy for a while and you're pretty knowledgeable about that era. From the 90s until now, prior to these civil lawsuits being filed, was there talk
he was
of
a mogul
wrongdoing on Diddy's behalf?
There really wasn't. You know, to compare him to R. Kelly, for instance, there were rumors swirling around R. Kelly from the beginning, and that started off with his marriage to a very underage
the 15-year-old girl.
And that's when folks were like, okay, something
or 12.
doesn't seem right here. But like, kind of put it to the side, just kind of put a pin in it for a few decades.
Yep, because when you can sing well, sheesh, when you can sing well, hey, yo, that's what you need. Hey, I believe I can fly. That's all you need. That's all you need to get out of the suit.
Until all the bombshell allegations and, well, ended up being proved in a court of law came forth. I feel like with Diddy, we didn't hear that much. We knew that he partied hard. We knew that he was always going to high profile events.
Diddy parties.
And all of that.
Those Diddy parties.
I personally have never heard any rumors surrounding any wrongdoing or anything having to do with him. This is an artist who really came to prominence in the 90s. We remember.
This is funny, my bad. Not to interrupt the video, but there's a claim that he had sex with Usher and recorded it. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, because I saw this picture. Also, I think the reason a lot of, like, okay, this is the truth, right? Like, Diddy's mad powerful, right? So I think a lot of the people who didn't say anything, it's because Diddy did a lot for them. So like, it's like, if you get on Diddy's bad side in the music industry, you might never make it. So you almost have to be on his side.
Of the
it just is what it is.
He was very close with.
Let's see that search history after you found that out.
He lost his life.
Hey, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Late 1990s, early 2000s. And so he was somebody who had this whole orbit around him, and so many different artists like Maze, and all these different folks that sprung out from this record label and orbit that they
imagine if P. Diddy gets away with this.
Had a huge impact on what.
There is a chance that he gets away with this. A lot of people think that he has recordings of very powerful officials that they can't let come out. So it's like he might, like, it's almost like Jeffrey Epstein, like how he had like a booklet of everybody, so like they needed to kill him before he could even say anything. So like P. Diddy apparently has recordings of a lot of powerful people, and he might be using that and be like, hey, if I go in jail, it's up for everybody. So I don't know.
R&B and hip hop looked like in the 90s and the 2000s, and continue to be influential today in terms of other artists.
He may have recording Me Too.
Gained prominence and gained fame, as well as him as a producer having this really huge presence in the industry.
Yeah.
So absolutely, this is a bombshell, and this is something where the impact is going to be reverberating around the globe for a variety of reasons.
But during this era, Diddy did have some trouble with the law. Back in 1999, he was arrested and charged in a shooting at a New York nightclub. His then-girlfriend, Jennifer Lopez, and rapper Shyne were also arrested. J-Lo's charges were dropped, but it was Shyne who faced the most serious charges.
He dated?
3 counts of attempted murder and criminal possession of a weapon. Ultimately, both Diddy and Shyne went to trial. Diddy was acquitted, but Shyne was convicted and sentenced to 10 years in prison.
Did he take the fall for Diddy?
He was released in 2009 and deported back to his home country of Belize. If we're looking at it in the 1999 lens, or the early 2000s when they went to trial, what was everyone making of it then?
So I think people were not like horrified per se. I think they looked at it as, well, this is part and parcel of the hip hop industry. I don't think it was very shocking because, there's definitely a perception, somewhat reality as well, that there is violence in the hip hop community and sort of that beef between different groups or different labels. We all know about the East Coast, West Coast beef that was going on during the 90s with Tupac on one side, Biggie on the other. So this was something that was an outgrowth of that time frame. So I don't think folks were super shocked at that juncture. I think what was more shocking was sort of Jennifer Lopez's involvement in all of this, because I don't think, even though she was like, yeah, I'm Jenny from the block, I don't think anybody really saw her as
Damn.
really going to.
I'm not even gonna lie, bro. Jennifer Lopez was kind of a baddie. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I now understand why people love her. I'm sorry. I'm just saying, like, okay, this is the truth. Kind of look. Now, I'm not gonna lie. Now, I don't really see it. I'm not even gonna bullshit. I'm not gonna lie. Now I think I'm not gonna lie, with all the crazy shit, I don't know about now, but back then,
going to be that quote unquote that chick
I get it.
who is coming with the firearm and is going to hold it down and ride or die for her man. Like, I don't think people really saw that of her. So I think that was the most shocking part of the case back in 1999.
So we've got these allegations that Diddy was responsible as the shooter, but also allegations that J-Lo carried the weapon that Diddy used in the shooting.
Damn.
What's interesting here is that Cassandra Ventura, known publicly as the singer Cassie, says Diddy made her do the same thing. She filed a lawsuit in November of last year,
so that they would take the fall if anything happened?
Pretty severe allegations about Diddy. To start, there's that gun allegation that on at least 2 occasions, Diddy demanded Cassie hold his gun in her purse. The lawsuit goes on to state, quote, there was no clear reason why Mr. Combs required her to hold his gun, except to reinforce to his young girlfriend that he was violent, and powerful, and dangerous.
Not only did Jennifer Lopez allegedly bring the gun to the club, now we're also looking at years later, Cassie coming forward and saying that Diddy forced her to carry a gun with her when they went out to different events. So again, I think that this is more along the lines of
Cassie's also kind of, I'm not gonna lie, P.Diddy he got good taste. He got good taste in women. Okay. So like, that's actually, I never thought about people doing that. So he would give his girlfriends a gun and put it in their purse so that they would always be like, oh, what the fuck? And then they would always feel like, yo, this guy is violent and dangerous. Dude, that's low-key, what do you call that? That's a kingpin move. That is like a kingpin ass move, like a mafia type move.
Look at this from a domestic violence lens, from the standpoint of the abuser being very controlling and demanding certain
big brain, I know,
loyalty to basically put yourself in a bad situation where only he can be the one to save you, basically. So in seeing that, the parallels between J-Lo's experience and Cassie's experience, number one, it brings more credibility to what Cassie said in her pleadings. But also, again, it causes us to look at Jennifer Lopez and be like, some of the comments she made about the end of her relationship to Diddy, in terms of, well, there was infidelity, and she kind of skirted the issue a bit. But when you start
she was scared
to look back at her comments, you start to think, ooh, were you in a domestic violence relationship with Diddy, much like how Cassie ended up in a domestic violence relationship with him?
What would have made her want to come forward, and what did you take away from that civil suit?
So the reason why she came forward at this juncture is because New York and California both passed laws around, which was called the Adult Survivor Act. So that basically extends the statute of limitations.
It's interesting that several more people have come forward. There's 4 additional lawsuits to Cassie's, and several of them mention Cassie by name and say, hey, because she came forward and told us about these
That's what it takes. That's what it takes. Usually when one person does it,
so did it really
everyone can be like, okay, I'm jumping in this.
I think it did.
Because I think Cassie, didn't Cassie, I'm not exactly sure. Cassie won like a previous lawsuit or something. She got paid millions of dollars because of what happened. But I don't know if this is the same lawsuit, but she got paid millions for what happened. Sorry, I'm late. What's up, John? It's all good, bro. Welcome to the stream, bro. Welcome. P. Diddy got arrested today, and we're just checking up. We're just catching up with what happened.
Because
y'all keep calling me Diddy.
Settled without any kind of public involvement, any kind of media coverage. These other people may never have come forward. So by, you know, kind of calling her bluff and saying, "Oh yeah, there's no way you're going to file this," he did himself a whole lot of damage. But I'm glad because at least now the truth is
Yep.
going to come out
Yep.
and everyone will know who this person is. And now, of course,
I think she originally went up to him to see if she could settle it, but he wasn't about it. So then, like, now this all came out. He should just paid her, bro. He's a billionaire. He should just paid her.
into high gear in terms of law enforcement involvement and investigations. So as much as this whole thing is sad and sordid, I'm glad that it's coming out so
Yep.
that more survivors can get the closure that they need and that he can be brought to justice for the
Damn,
crimes
not
he's
a Diddy
perpetrated on
survivor.
others.
Among those other
Damn.
lawsuits, another filed under the New York Survivors Act by Joy Dickerson Neal. Her allegations date back to 1991 when she was a student at Syracuse University. Joy says Diddy intentionally drugged her, resulting in her being in a physical state where she could not independently stand or
Damn.
walk. Joy also alleges she's a victim of revenge porn because Diddy allegedly recorded the rape
Yep.
and passed around that videotape. According to her suit, Joy demands a jury trial, as does Liza Gardner, who also says Diddy raped her in New York in the
Damn.
90s.
Damn.
According to her civil suit, Liza and her friend met Diddy at a party and later went with him to an after party where she, quote, was offered more drinks and coerced into having sex with Combs. Liza says Diddy and another man raped her and her friend.
Damn.
Later on, she says Diddy choked her to the point that she lost consciousness. While Jane Doe doesn't list her name in the lawsuit, she does list multiple photos of herself and Diddy. Her allegations date back to 2003 when
There's
she was
no way people can't figure out who this is, right? I'm sorry. Like it's like this girl was around Diddy, and then like there's just no way they won't know who this is.
just 17 years old and in 11th grade. Her lawsuit states at this time, Diddy was
11th grade? Nah, this man's going to jail. Nah, this man's going to jail. I'm sorry, this man's going to jail. It's up. It's up. It's up, Diddy.
twice her age and one of the most well-known and influential music artists of all time. Jane Doe alleges Diddy flew her from Michigan to New York on a private plane and raped her in a recording studio. All this leads us back to Lil Rod's 74-page lawsuit that was filed back in February, detailing a laundry list of wild accusations. Melba says all this parallels a trajectory we've seen before.
Oh, it absolutely is a fall from grace. I have no question in my mind that this is going to be the end of Diddy as we know him.
There's no way
And the
you're
next chapter is
aligning
going to be
yourself with him.
incarcerated, much like R. Kelly. And which is, of course, sad, tragic, and horrible, not only for him, but more importantly for the survivors who have gone through some horrific experiences.
What's the worst that can happen to this guy? What's the worst that can happen? He goes to jail? Well, I feel like he should be in jail forever. Like, I'm not saying death penalty, but he should be in jail forever. There's no way this guy comes out of jail in like 10 years, right? Or like 5 years?
Yeah, I think this is definitely going to be the end because with all of the allegations that have come forward.
You can't even survive it. There's too many. There's too many allegations.
That have come forward.
There's way too many.
I can't see how he gets out of this.
Yeah, yeah.
According to
I'm
Lil
gonna
Rod's
see. All right, Noah, have a good
for
night, bro.
months at a time while working on Diddy's Love album. During this time, he says Diddy sexually assaulted him, forced him to have sex with prostitutes, and drugged him. On top of all this, Lil Rod says his allegations are corroborated with hundreds of hours of footage and audio recordings of Mr. Combs, his staff, and his guests engaging in some serious illegal activity. Because Diddy apparently required Lil Rod to record him constantly.
I remember this. Apparently, he has like he's got gigabytes, terabytes of storage worth of stuff that Diddy wanted him to record and hold, which is kind of stupid, bro. You're gonna do a bunch of illegal shit and then tell someone to record it. One is a power move because you get to use it against them, but then that shit could be used against you. GG's.
Even lays out some pictures like this one showing Cuba Gooding Jr. with his arm around Lil Rod. According to this suit, Lil Rod alleges Diddy was, quote, grooming him to pass him off to his friends. This fear became reality when Mr. Combs introduced Mr. Jones to Cuba Gooding Jr. while they were on Mr. Combs' yacht. Court documents go on to state, Cuba Gooding Jr. began touching, groping, and fondling Mr. Jones's legs, his upper inner thighs near his groin, the small of his back near his buttocks, and his shoulders. But then there are other defendants listed, like corporations such as Universal Music Group and Motown Records, along with their higher-ups. To understand this, I spoke to entertainment attorney Mitra Ohurian. In addition to these record labels that are listed as defendants, they also list CEOs, a former CEO of Motown Records and then a current CEO of UMG. So I'm wondering why, in addition to these labels, are they listing the CEOs?
Yeah, they're trying to pierce the corporate veil. They're trying to say that, you as individuals also were aware of these things happening.
Someone we know for sure is speaking with investigators, though, is Cassie. Melba says she's not surprised.
I expect that she would have, because again, if she's telling the truth, then she's going
Diddy,
to
I love it.
give
Came back
any
to
evidence
Diddy.
that she has. So in terms of if there's
Don't we always
recordings
come
she
back
knows
to Diddy? It
existed,
always comes
right?
back to
I mean,
Diddy.
she may not have possession of it, but she could be like, listen, in July of 2005, he forced me to do XYZ at, this particular hotel. There may be surveillance footage to show me going in and out of the building. There may be video that he took of the horrible events that may have happened that day. So now at least law enforcement will know exactly where to look and start to narrow down different timelines, and then also speak to other witnesses or maybe other survivors that were present and victimized at another point in time, but they can help corroborate some of what she's saying. And that is going to help put together the case against Diddy, likely for human trafficking, for sex trafficking, narcotics charges, etc.
So what we believe is that the Cassie lawsuit.
I love his music. I'm in a predicament.
But is it possible that Lil
He was
Rod's
a
bombshell
titan
lawsuit that came out in February is really what kicked it into high gear? Because there we learned about the many hours, he says hundreds of hours of recordings. And then as we know, federal investigators were at multiple of his homes. Could those two things be correlated?
Oh, they absolutely are. They absolutely are. I would think that the feds or law enforcement was investigating from when Cassie's lawsuit was filed, but now they have additional fuel for the fire.
Yeah, especially if they've seen the footage. It's like, bro, let's just go in there and try to get as much as we can. Get this guy fucking indicted, bro.
In reading Lil Rod's lawsuit, now we're getting into drug use. We're getting into drug trafficking.
I still listen to R. Kelly, so no problem to me. I don't blame you. R. Kelly's still him, though. R. Kelly, as a musician, is him. As a human being, though, in jail.
And so you're hearing and seeing all of these other allegations that now the feds can be like, okay, now I know I need to look for surveillance tapes. Now I need to look for this aspect. Now I need to speak to these folks because they were listed in Lil Rod's lawsuit.
All of that leads us up to right now and the speculation of what's next for Diddy. As far as Diddy's name, who's all over multiple of these lawsuits, I mean, he's the main kingpin in all of this. He may be facing some reputational damage, but I'm wondering what's going on behind closed doors with him and his attorneys. What sort of game plan are they making?
Well, I'm going to say that is going to be a very active war room right now, because basically they're going to be scrambling to figure out how to avoid criminal liability. Who are the people that are likely to testify against him?
He's done.
Can they try and mitigate that in any way? Which I don't think they can.
Can he use his money to somehow influence the decision of the court? That's what he really needs to do right now.
And then also preparing for criminal charges being filed and starting to think through what a defense strategy could look like. Making sure that you have bond money set up in case there's bond available for whatever offenses he's charged with, and then making sure you have money set aside that wouldn't be otherwise encumbered because, for whatever reason, right? I mean, there's a number of reasons why you may not be able to get cash out right away. Let's say if the cash is tied up in your house, you may not be able to get access to it right away. So you may want to have a separate pool just to be able to pay for that, right?
He got cash.
Are some of the logistics
he got cash.
that his defense team
I'll tell you right now,
at in preparation.
With all the legal shit that he seems to have been doing his whole goddamn career, he's got cash. He's got cash and in abundance.
For the charges that will come, because there's no question in my mind charges will come.
This story is constantly evolving with new information coming out daily. For updates in Diddy's case, make sure to check back right here with Long Crime for the latest.
They got his ass.
Reporting for Long Crime, I'm Sierra Gillespie.
They got his ass. They got his ass. Get him off the streets, bro. Get Diddy off the streets, bro. Honest to God, if I'm P. Diddy, I probably want to end up in jail anyways. Cause every single time I go out, everyone's talking about a Diddy party. Talking about diddling you. I'm like, and now they're gonna be talking about baby lotion. 1,000 bottles of baby lotion. Nah, hell no, bro. Just put me in jail, dog. Dog, just put me in jail. Get it over with, bro. Let me come out and everyone forget about this shit, dog. It's over. It's over for me. Like, his reputation is cooked. His reputation is mad cooked, dog. G.G.